Hello, everyone. It is so good to see you all. Welcome to VERGE 24. VERGE is the event where professionals doing the hard, ongoing work of deploying climate solutions gather to celebrate and commiserate, share successes and setbacks, and figure out how to do all of this faster. This is the 13th year of VERGE, which is just incredible to think about. This event predates the term climate tech. And this ecosystem, the innovators and the companies and the visionaries, have so much to be proud of from the last decade plus of work. We have developed technologies that drastically reduce emissions. We have moved climate conversations from activist circles to boardrooms. And we have unleashed capitalism to tackle one of our largest existential threats, the climate crisis. So the challenge now is deployment. And a challenge it is. It turns out that rewiring and repowering the entire world is hard and expensive. And there is powerful resistance from incumbent interests. And that is where VERGE thrives. The ecosystems that comprise this event are the early adopters and the fast followers that are figuring out what speed and scale look like. Of course, despite these solutions available and despite the hard work of trailblazers, emissions are on the rise globally. And that is a sobering reality. Targets set by the UN include halving emissions by the year 2030, and we are not tracking in the right direction. That is less than 6 years away. That is less than half the amount of time this event has been in existence. And as we learned last week at the Biodiversity COP, nature's tipping points are upon us. And reports are getting more dire about how fast the transition must happen in order to save what we can. And to boot, electricity loads are on the rise, moving the goalposts. This would be hard to do in the best of times. And we, unfortunately, are not living in the best of times. Today is truly defined by instability. We have extreme weather and political partisanship, economic uncertainty, and global conflicts. How do we stay committed to the mission and the vision of this work when we are so aware that we are losing ground? This question has been rolling around in my mind in the creation of this year's VERGE. VERGE is focused on climate tech, yes, but at its heart, this is human. And humans, by design, are endlessly resilient. Resilience may be our most miraculous trait. It's how we grow. It's how we transform. We also know that there is opportunity in uncertainty. Our collective task is to harness the instability to achieve the systemic and cultural and economic shifts needed with the greatest equity, resilience, and ecological restoration possible. It isn't just about how we survive, it's how we stand ready to still capture the abundant and resilient future that is still possible. And that is the power of VERGE. It's a time to connect with community, to learn, to strengthen our vision, and to inspire one another. It's a chance to see how we all fit into a wider lens. So this year I read a book by Adrienne Maree Brown called Emergent Strategy, loved it, and I was inspired by a framework for change inspired by nature, fractals. Fractals are patterns made from the same shape, repeated again and again, creating a whole that represents its smallest parts. Nature does this everywhere. You can see it in a succulent, in a sunflower, in a shell, in a lightning bolt. And the same is true for social movements. How we act on the small scale is what we engender on the large scale. Our personal resilience is the building blocks for resilient institutions, resilient economies, and a resilient future. Which is to say that everyone and every action matters. The day-to-day work of sustainability professionals can feel small next to the scale of the challenge. But the nitty-gritties are the seeds of change needed for transformation. Indeed, the small things may be all that matter. It's seductive to think that there is some big solution for a big problem, but in reality, transformational change happens from a collective groundswell. And the progress may be hard to see from the inside, but collectively, it adds up to be a lot. And if we trust in a collective vision, we can move as a murmuration, which to me is the most beautiful of all natural patterns. Thousands of starlings moving together, weaving, turning, somehow not hitting one another, and magically making something larger than themselves. So I know all of this is heady, and don't worry, that is not where we're going to end. Because key to making a vision a reality is joy and fun. Changing the world can only happen if we make place for play and inspiration and connection. You should take your craft seriously, but not yourself. And that is the other function of VERGE, to remind us that this community is fun. And this hard work we do is fun. Not every minute of every day, but over time. It's hard to imagine a more energizing and exciting and rewarding field to be part of than climate tech. And with that, it is my absolute honor to welcome you all to VERGE 24. So we have something special for you on the stage today. And to help tell us how this works, I want to invite out my friend, climate comedian, Stuart Goldsmith.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Sarah. It's lovely to be here at VERGE, celebrating this wonderful event with you all. I am, as Sarah mentioned, a climate comedian. And I know many of you, when you hear that, will be thinking, what can that possibly mean? Well, it's very simple. When you're a climate comedian, nearly all of your gigs end in catastrophe, but you try and remain optimistic despite all of the data. Now, I'm sure you know this from your personal lives and your professional lives. As soon as you mention the climate crisis in any kind of context, you are immediately forced to confront your own hypocrisy. And I know that. About 18 months ago, I did a show in the UK, a sort of climate community charity show in a community centre, and the MC came on and brought on all of these different acts, poets and folk singers, and then at the end of the night, the host said, please welcome, to close the show, the climate comedian who's been all around the world. And I was in the wings like, shut up, and you're killing me. So with that in mind, something that we're going to ask you to do here together today, and for the whole of this event, is to connect with each other. We have to connect, we have to learn to connect with other people. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ugh, that sounds horrible. I mean, have you met other people? I, for one, would rather be in a separate room with my noise-cancelling headphones. But connect we must. And so that's why Sarah has asked me to explain to you this device. Unfortunately, I am the world's leading authority on whatever the hell this is. So what we've got is a plank of wood and a couple of G-clamps. We've got some sensors that have been bolted on. They look quite technical. Over here, we have these lava tubes, and they are connected. But more importantly than that, Sarah and I are going to be connected too.
Yeah, we are excited to work together as a team.
We have real synergy.
In fact, we finish each other's
experiments.
And so this works through a circuit which is run by
sentences.
A connection.
A connection, yeah.
Okay, so when I touch this side, you can see that we have a light growing on this lava tube.
And when I touch this one, the opposite side lights up. But that's not all. And this is, I should say, very much like climate tech in that it's super cool and I'm really excited to tell you about it, but I've got absolutely no idea how it works.
Okay, so this is impressive, but the magic really happens when Stu and I connect with one another.
When two people connect with one another. And if anyone thinks this metaphor is a little bit too on the nose, feel free to email us. Although we will not read your emails.
And if Trellis responds, you likely will not receive that email.
So Sarah and I are going to complete the circuit by holding hands and then grabbing one sensor each. And this will then light up in an exciting way to celebrate the connection that is emblematic of VERGE. Now, I'll be honest with you, with all of this rampant energy in the room, I'm not certain that you look like you think it's going to work. So we'll take a quick vote. Give us a cheer or a round of applause if you think that this is going to work. Ah, there you are. Give us a cheer or a round of applause if you don't think it's going to work. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And not everyone has voted, so give us a cheer or a round of applause if you really don't care whether it works or not. You're just hanging around to see if we get tasered. Yeah, thank you. You bastards. Okay. So if we can dim the lights now, please. It takes, once we make the connection, it takes about 10 seconds to reach the sort of exciting fruition of it. So we crave your focused attention, please. We'll hold hands now. And if you could all please give us a countdown from 3 to 1, loud as you like, starting now. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to VERGE, everybody.
Oh, I love this thing so much. Okay, Stu, when can we see you next?
Oh, thank you very much. You can see me doing an hour of stand-up comedy all about the climate crisis. It's my award-winning show from the Edinburgh Festival that I performed at Greenbiz earlier this year in Arizona. And you can see that tonight at 7 o'clock in the Market Street Room, I think, which is connected to this building somehow. It'll be a fun challenge to find it. There are only 100 seats, and there's no way to book, so get there early in queue. Thank you very much. I shall see you later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.
Thank you, Stu. So with that, I would like to welcome up our first keynote conversation. Vanessa Chan is the director of the Office of Technology Transition at the Department of Energy, and she knows what it takes to deploy climate tech at scale. Cyrus Wadia is the CEO of Activate, a fellowship program supporting climate tech entrepreneurs, and before that, he worked in corporate sustainability at both Nike and Amazon. Molly Wood is a renowned journalist, deep in the challenges and opportunity inherent in tech. Together, they will cover where we are in this moment and where we go from here. Join me in welcoming our next panel to the stage.